Hello everyone, welcome to the virtual lab tours of EMCh362 Mechanical Engineering Lab 2. This is the first section of the video demonstration of the lab. In this lab, which is located in 300 Main in the basement, we have two different setups. One is the fluids lab that you see right in front of you, and the other is the vibration lab. In the fluids lab, you are going to study how the fluid flows through a semi-open closed loop system. In this system, you're going to have a centrifugal pump, you're going to have a paddle wheel flow meter, you're going to have a valve, and you're going to have a venturi meter. As you may have had this lab in 361, the extension in 362 is going to be how you're going to characterize the different designs of a venturi by using discharge coefficient, also known as the efficiency. We are going to have these 3D printed venturies that are designed at different ratios of diameters by using a 3D printer. The 3D printer that we are using is an Ender 3 or an Ultimaker 3D printer to manufacture the venturies. Moving on to the second lab, the lab is going to be the vibration lab. In this vibration lab, you are going to study a hypothesis whether the beam that you see here either behaves as a cantilever beam or a free beam. The properties are given to you, and you're going to compare the numerical or the theoretical calculations with what you see in this experiment. And you're going to infer if it is a free beam or a cantilever beam by exciting it to different frequencies. So this wraps up A015 lab virtual tour. Thank you. This is a virtual lab tour of the composite lab for EMCh362 Lab 2. In this lab, we are going to be performing two experiments. One experiment is to study the flow of the fluid while manufacturing a composite using VARTM, which is vacuum assisted resin transfer molding. The second is going to be studying the manufacture of composite through prepreg by using a vacuum that's pulled through the system. In the case of VARTM for the first lab, we are going to be using glass fiber fabric. As you can see, there are different kinds of fabric, glass fiber fabric, carbon fiber fabric. These are used in the aircraft industries widely. In our setup, we are going to have these fabric, and we're going to cut them according to a model using the Gerber cutter. The roll is transferred from the rack here, and we're going to have a CAD program, and we're going to run it to cut the fabric. And then the fabric is laid up in different number of layers, 6 or 8, and the resin, as you can see, mixed with the hardener, is pulled through the system using the vacuum. So there'll be two ports here which pull the resin and pull the vacuum through. In this method, we are going to be manufacturing the composite and studying the flow of the resin through the system. In the second lab, we are going to do the same with the prepreg. In the prepreg, it consists of both the fabric and the resin. Hence, there is no resin flow, but there is vacuum to pull to have a cure in the room temperature. That's an overall tour of your composite lab at the McNair Center. Hello everyone, this is a virtual tour of the tensile testing lab. You have the MTS machine, which we are going to use to study the characteristics of the aluminum alloys as well as composites. As you can see, the dog bone specimen of the aluminum is mounted on the tensile testing machine. We supply a constant strain so that the specimen is pulled on both the ends, and we observe how the stress varies as we change the strain. Now, this will help us to get the stress strain curve and calculate the Young's modulus, the ultimate tensile strength, the fracture strength, and the yield strength. We are also going to use the composite that was manufactured using prepreg from the VARTM lab, and we are going to mount it similar to the dog bone specimen and we're going to study the Young's modulus and ultimate tensile strength. And we are going to do a statistical analysis for different types of alloy and also a statistical analysis on the composite itself. This is an overall view. There are multiple tensile testing machines here which are used for different purposes. Thank you. This part of our video concludes our virtual lab tour. In this lab, we are going to be studying the thermal conductivity of metals and polymers. We are going to study the thermal conductivity of a metal using the arm field apparatus that you see here. The metal is placed in between, a current is passed, it's heated up by the resistance inherent to the material, and we study what the thermal conductivity is compared to the specimen which is considered as standard. And now, to study the polymer thermal conductivity, we use an equipment called a C-therm. We use it to directly measure the thermal conductivity without extrapolating over a range of temperature. This concludes our virtual lab tour of EMCh362. Hope you'll have a great semester. Thank you.